I have a really elegant military rifle for you today. The austro-hungarian Werndl was one of the first single-shot breech-loading, center-fire, small-caliber military rifles on the world, and its action is clearly very interesting. This rifle was designed to replace the single-shot muzzle-loading Lawrence rifles and the single-shot breech-loading Werndl rifles of the Habsburg army, and by the time of 1867 this was the most modern arm in the European armies. This rifle moved the K&K soldier into the modern age. Although it was not used in many conflicts, it still plays a very important part in the military history of my country. So let's learn some history now.
In the Battle of Königgrätz, the Habsburg army finally learned a lesson it should have learned 15 years earlier. It was a clash between obsolete and new tactics and firearms. The Habsburg army, led by Lajos Benedek, still believed in the Stoss tactic and relied on close battle formations and skirmish lines, with winning the game with bayonet charge. The Prussian army, led by Karl Helmut von Moltke, already used decentralized small units deployed in a system of broad skirmish lines and believed strongly in the firepower of the Dreiser rifles. By these times, the Habsburg army was still equipped with Lawrence muzzleloaders with 3 rounds per minute rate of fire, while the Prussian needle-fire rifles were capable of 12 rounds per minute. While the Stoss tactic was effective against armies with the same armament, it was useless against the rapid-firing breech loaders. In the most devastating 20 minutes of the battle, Benedek lost 10,000 soldiers due to the Prussian fire. The days of the bayonet charge of the Stoss tactics was over, just as the days of the era of muzzle loading. To modernize the army, a Hinterladungsgewehr commission was set up in 1866 to examine 33 breech-loader designs. In the meantime, the conversion of Lawrence rifles started to fire rimfire 40mm metallic cartridges. But the final rifle to be accepted was an Austrian design by Josef Werndl and Karl Holub. The new rifle was cheaper and better than the competitors, and it was manufactured in Steyr in the Werndl factory. The Werndl was a better arm than the Lawrence and the Dreiser, but only the rate of fire was better. The range and accuracy was the same. The M67 Werndl was different. It had a good rate of fire, 14 aimed or 24 unaimed shot per minute. A well-trained soldier was capable of hitting a man-sized target up to 400 paces and a horseman up to 600 paces. The 20-gram bullet left the bore with 436 meters per second, so the flat trajectory remained in the height of a human upper body up to 300 paces. The sights could be set very precisely between 200 and 1400 paces with 100 paces increments. The leather was used for distances more than 600 paces. Werndl and Holub got the idea of the drumlock from the tabernacles of the Catholic churches. This is why this breech system is often called Tabernakelverschluss. The hammer has 3 positions. The middle one is the safety for loading the rifle. The trigger pull of the rifle is very heavy. First I thought that something was modified on this gun, but actually the original shooting instructions also mentioned that the trigger pull should be over 5 kilograms or 10 pounds. The springed firing pin is located in the right side of the drum. When opening the drum, the cutout section is rotated to be in line with the chamber, so the cartridge can be loaded now. The extractor is located on the left side. When loading, the soldier had to push the cartridge to the left side of the chamber, so the rim cannot get behind the extractor. The triangular axis is held in place by a flat spring that looks like a tang.
In 1866, a group of reporters from the Times magazine visited the factory at Steyr to check the capabilities of this gun. Mr. Werndl demonstrated the strongness of the gun in a very unusual way. He took one rifle, threw it out from the window on the first floor that fell on the pavement, brought it back and continued firing without losing accuracy and without having any problem with the gun. After firing it, he took it again, threw it out of the window again and repeated this several times without doing any damage to the gun, only some small scratches on the wood. The reporter also mentioned that the gun was capable of firing 24 shots a minute. Unaimed, fast-firing mode, of course, not aimed fire. But still, it was a very good rate of fire by those times.
The original 11.15 by 42 caliber cartridges of the M67 rifles had 4 grams of fine black powder and a 20-gram bullet. This cartridge was also used in the simplified 1873 versions of these rifles. In 1877, the ballistic efficiency of the cartridge was increased. A 24-gram paper patch bullet was used in a bigger case with 5 grams of powder charge. The paper patch eliminated the leading in the bore. The grease was added as a small grease cake between cardboards between the powder and the bullet. The average muzzle velocity only increased by 2 meters per second, but the penetration and long-range accuracy got much better. The M77 cartridges had a harder brass case as well to withstand the increased pressure. All the M67 and M73 rifles were converted to the new caliber. Their name received a per 77 suffix. The cartridges I used are not exact copies of the M77 cartridges. The load is 5 grams of 3F Swiss powder and the bullet is a 24 gram conical, but it is not paper patched as the original. The bore has 6 grooves with a twist rate of 1 turn in 29 inches. The rifle could be equipped with a sword bayonet. It was attached to the rail on the right side of the barrel.
But now let's go to the range and see how this old lady performs.